win. Ryan's when it's time to begin. It's on the Rewind-A-Raw with John Pollock and Wai Ting. The A-Team that makes sense of these things we see in the ring every week on TV. It's Rewind-A-Raw for Monday night. Download it Tuesday morning from the Post Wrestling site. It's Rewind-A-Raw for Monday night on USA Now on the John and Wai Take the mic.
Hello, everybody. John Pollock, Wai Ting, here with you on the Post Wrestling YouTube channel to go through Monday's edition of Raw from Baltimore, Maryland. And Wai, we have Stanley Cup champions and NBA champions, the New York Knicks.
Mm-hmm. How much did you watch the game?
I watched almost all of Game 5 of the Knicks game on Saturday night. I turned it on. I was, no matter how much the Spurs were up, I was so confident the Knicks were going to win this game. And they start clawing their way back. And it was a really exciting fourth quarter as it wound down. I could have imagined had this game been in New York, but just seeing the scenes in New York afterwards, it was incredible. I don't have any connection to the Knicks. They were not my team growing up, but yeah, it was, sometimes you can go 53 years without winning a championship, and then there's other teams that say, you know what, we can go even more than 53 years, and that's what our hockey team does best. Yeah. But yeah, this was a huge series. I mean, this was I don't know. I don't think the numbers have come out yet for this fifth game. But yeah, this was just a massive, massive series.
Yeah, seemed to really get the entire nation behind it. And it's a wonderful story, of course. And we'll be talking about it a little bit in our review of Raw, in fact.
We will be. Yes, there is quite the crossover. I also want to alert people that Tuesday, we've got the wellness policy. That'll be on the free tier of the Post Wrestling Cafe. And Thursday, Rewind-A-Wai, we're going back to 2017 for the Ultimate Thrill Ride edition of WrestleMania from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah. This one, it doesn't feel like it's so long ago, but it's almost 10 years old. And when you look at this roster and the career
could we
path,
fit some more people on this poster? I mean, is there any unused space there that we could fit more faces onto this thing?
You know what? I look forward to talking about each and every single one of these people in a review of this 5-hour show.
Folks, that's without the pre-show, and we are not. I will read the results. We are not watching the pre-show on top of this. This show, the main show, is 5 hours.
Yeah, so that means a lot of updates. Where are they now? Is for maybe a lot of the people that are here, and a lot of discussion about, some well remembered, some not so well remembered moments from this show.
Let me just say, first of all, when will you start this show?
I'm about 40 something minutes into the 5 hours. Don't you worry.
I finished this thing over the weekend. I knew I would have no time during this week. I had to get this thing done. Multiple sittings over the weekend. We will talk all about this. I do not want to travel back to 2017 WWE. That's my log line as we go into this review coming up on Thursday. But I look forward to chatting about it with you, Wai. An event that you and I did cover in person.
Oh yeah, lots of thoughts on the set, which you, John, have voted your greatest set of all time. Did you not?
I did. I think I named this one the best set when we did our list. The set is probably the best thing of this show.
We shall see. What else?
Lots to talk about. Okay, that's coming up on Thursday. Tonight we are headed to Baltimore, Maryland, the CFG Bank Arena. What a mouthful. WrestleTick's last number, 11,454, a big attendance figure for Raw, up slightly from the last time they were here for Raw 2 years ago in August of 2024 when they did 11,168. An interesting note is that Joe Tessitore did give out a number. The WrestleTick's number was actually higher than the number Joe Tessitore gave out, a rarity, but it was slightly above.
It happens. Yeah,
it does sometimes. Yeah. And so Joe Tessitore was here for Michael Cole, who was having the night off. So we get Joe Tess and Corey Graves. Roman Reigns, after taking in the night of fights, where we got Josh Hokett's transphobic comment, and then we cut right to Roman Reigns with Triple H. Perfect cutaway time. And so Reigns arrives with the Usos, and they're joined by Jacob Fatu backstage, and they come out. The crowd is singing. They're chanting for Roman. And Roman says, is going to win the King of the Ring. And then says about Big Jim. Without Big Jim, there would be no Jay, there would be no Roman Reigns, and there would be no Bloodline. And to acknowledge Jimmy. The whole crowd starts chanting for Fatu, and Fatu just stands there, stone face. Jay says, Fatu, you don't listen. You need to acknowledge us. And Reigns then says that they have a problem. And he steals the microphone. Fatu explains, I don't listen to Jimmy and Jay. I only acknowledge you, my tribal chief. And Reigns says, that's good, because we don't need yes men around here. So Reigns calls upon a mystery box, not a lockbox. No, instead, it's the Roman secret box containing a new Ulafala, which means a new prop to sell you for $65. And it's a wooden Ulafala. And Reigns explains how the Bloodline has always run this place. Whether it was the Wild Samoans who ran WWF, whether it was Yokozuna putting up those ones with Ludwig Borga and Jacques Rougeau, whether it was Rikishi, which this crowd reacts to, which really tells you the slice of this audience and who is recognizable to them. Because Rikishi got the biggest reaction here. He then mentioned Umaga and then the Usos. And one day our kids will be teaming together. They will be the Bloodline too. So the Bloodline has always existed in this company. Fatu, you're not an outsider anymore. We're welcoming you to the family business. It's like, I could have used this when I was in Contra Unit back in MLW. And he says that he is now part of the Bloodline and places the Ulafala onto Jacob, and the four men put the ones in the air. And this was like 25 minutes. Quite the ceremony.
What? Yeah, Bloodline stuff is it takes a while, and it's they've got a pace that they definitely adhere to. Yeah. I hear from our audience, and I see people online post about like Bloodline fatigue. I really personally, I don't feel it at all. I love this saga. I love this lore. I love the family drama of it all. And I think Roman being a leader like this of his own family is the best version of Roman Reigns. I think Jimmy and Jay being by his side are the best versions of the Usos. And this addition of Jacob to be successfully opens up a new chapter. I wasn't really sure how like Roman would be solving this issue of Jacob not responding to the Usos. And his solution was, interestingly, not to berate him, but to, embrace him as this sort of perhaps new second to his group. So it's an interesting approach. And I think you have Jacob now, who continues to demonstrate fierce loyalty to Roman Reigns, and the tension between he and definitely Jay will continue to ramp up. To see them fight for Roman's, adoration as right-hand man, I think could be a lot of fun. And of course, it set up a big moment afterwards as well.
It continues, and there in the front row is actor, comedian Eric Andre, and they just happened to mention that he has a film coming out with John Cena on Netflix this month. And he's high-fiving Roman Reigns, and he's patting the other Usos. Jay wants nothing to do with this guy. Jimmy embraces him. And then he starts patting Jacob Fatu's back and playing with the Ulafala. And Jacob Fatu ain't having any of this. And he just grabs Eric Andre and flips him over the barricade, throws him into the ring. I thought Jacob Fatu was 100% babyface here. It's like, you don't put your hands on the performers. Isn't that like the first rule here? The guy when Jacob Fatu learned from the Eddie Guerrero school here, okay? So he just...
Well, they don't put your hands on your Ulafala.
That's just, that's a step too far. And so he throws Eric Andre into the ring. The security is out, freaking out. Eric Andre just lays like a corpse in this ring in position. And then Roman gives him the signal, and Jacob flies, and the people go nuts for this. And then Reigns says, one more time. And then Jacob Fatu hits another splash. This place loved this. And then Corey Graves yells, that was a warning shot to the entire roster. Eric Andre has put everyone on notice here, okay? This could be you. And all I can hope is that the big showdown, okay? Forget all these dream matches, okay? Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, Jey Uso against Eric Andre, Cameron, and Mace. Is that not where all of this pays off?
Perhaps, yeah, perhaps. Everybody's looking for the rub here, I'm sure. So they do mention that Roman is a co-star of Eric Andre's, who's in the Street Fighter movie with him, right? So that's why
is Eric Andre in that movie too?
Oh, everybody in the world is in that Street Fighter movie. Yeah. So Roman and Andre were actually cool.
Okay, well that makes sense why he was so cool with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this moment of Roman saying, "Hey, don't attack Eric Andre," to him changing it to saying, "Yeah, kill Eric Andre," I think was there to let us know that, hey, Roman, this is a Roman Reigns who is putting his family in the respect of his family above maybe his Hollywood ambitions and his Hollywood career. So, I felt that was effective. Also, of course, it's there to show you how loyal Jacob is to Roman's order, and that Roman now really has, I think, Jacob, his command, and really maybe his own best interests, at heart as well.
What happens if the roles are reversed and Roman Reigns is seated front row at Korakuen Hall when E Honda is in the G1?
You know what? I don't know.
Maybe Goto sends Yoshihashi to go after Roman Reigns.
I wonder if he'll have better seats than he did on Sunday.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a tough ticket. IYO SKY against Raquel Rodriguez in the Queen of the Ring semifinals was our first match of the show. Rodriguez drops her throat first on the barricade, and Rodriguez is in control, catches her. Suicide dive, dropping her to the floor. Sky comes back with a bullet train attack after the break, and the crowd is cheering for her. She tries for a sunset bomb to the floor, but is stomped by Raquel, and Sky stops a power slam, running Raquel into the desk, smashing her head, and then misses a stomp coming off the barricade to the desk, and Raquel misses the corkscrew elbow. Raquel is run into the post, and then she powers her way to hit a sunset bomb finally onto Raquel, placing her onto the mat for the over the moonsault, and IYO wins in 10 minutes and 13 seconds. She goes to the final and will face either Liv Morgan or Charlotte Flair. So we will not get the Judgment Day final. But I like this match. I think Raquel has really turned into a very good, working as a giant in the ring, and using the athleticism aspect, but really does command the size advantage here, and obviously had IYO SKY. I just thought they clicked well in this match.
Agreed. I think IYO playing underdog for Raquel brought out the best of Raquel's current sort of heel monster role, and I think it's the type of match that highlights perhaps her development in this role since she, turning heel, joining the Judgment Day. Back when she started, it really felt like she was having a bit of difficulty, to me, transitioning to being a heel, because she, for the longest time in her entire WWE career, has sort of been known as the friendly giant. Her entire gimmick for a couple years on the main roster was that she smiled a lot. So I felt like it took a bit to maybe drag the meanness out of her. And at this point, she seems very fully indoctrinated into the WWE style of big man wrestling, meaning working, I would say pretty effective spots here in doing things catching the tope, ramming IYO into the post, constantly threatening to use her size to just squash her smaller opponents. I thought the back and forth stuff around the announce table was really well done. So I would agree this was a good match. As far as who do you see going forward on the other side to face IYO?
We've got Liv and Charlotte. Maybe Charlotte.
Charlotte versus IYO. You could do with who? Charlotte versus Rhea being on the table. IYO, you would assume, might go after Liv. But IYO versus Rhea, they could build to somehow as well. And I think thematically, that double babyface match between two best friends, bit more attractive, certainly, right? So that's certainly open. I also think you could do IYO versus Liv Io wins the match, then challenges Liv to a rematch for the title. That's another thing you could do, but that would sort of be doing a match twice. Support for this podcast comes from NordVPN. There is a lot of wrestling happening every week, and if you're a completist like we are at Post, then you probably know how expensive it can be juggling multiple streaming services just to keep up. In some parts of the world, things are set up pretty well. Regions where WWE lives on a single paid streaming service, others where AEW fans can get their weekly shows and pay-per-views bundled under one subscription. But when those fans travel abroad, they lose access to those fully featured versions of those services that they rely on at home. And that's where NordVPN comes in. No matter where you are, you can open the app on your phone, laptop, or Apple TV, connect to a server of your country's location, sign into your existing accounts, and keep up with your wrestling the way you do at home. John and I have been using Nord for over 3 years now, and it's become one of the most reliable, must-have tools in our wrestling consumption. It'll probably be for you as well. You can grab an exclusive NordVPN deal by going to our custom link, nordvpn.com/postwrestling. You'll get a big discount on any 2-year plan, plus 4 additional months on top. As always, it is completely risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. That's nordvpn.com/postwrestling. You can find all the information in the episode notes. Get your exclusive deal and let them know you found them through us.
Liv is with Roxanne backstage, and she has gotten over Raquel being out pretty quickly. And now they can just focus on her and Dominic in the 2 tournaments. And Roxanne's going to weaken Charlotte for her later tonight. So Liv goes into Danhausen's lab, and she needs a favor. And she shows off her Danhausen shirt and wants him to place a curse onto Oba Femi. Given this roster and its depth, I don't think we should be playing with that.
Yeah.
I think he already put one on the Vision.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That would be terrible.
So he wanted human monies and to be in her next music video. And this, I guess, was the deal breaker because she did not negotiate this any further.
I guess she thought like she could flirt with him to get him to do his bidding, but Danhausen does not seemingly respond to that. Or she's not his type.
No. When are we going to get the reveal of who's under the sheet? It's got to be coming up soon, right?
God, yeah, sure. Has to be. I'm thinking they might take this all the way to SummerSlam.
That's a long way.
Yeah.
Who's going to be underneath? They did this great video. It was like a spoof of a documentary trailer of Danhausen with the Knicks.
They did this actually weeks ago, but now they've updated it to include the win. Yeah.
Okay, so they just showed the
Doctor Strange curse is what they called it. Yeah.
So we just had the updated footage of the Knicks winning the championship and how the Knicks had lost Game 3. That was not Danhausen's fault, it states, and then winning on Saturday. So they've been very smart to just exploit this for all it's worth because this guy has become like a story of this whole Knicks championship win. So I mean, it's been a stroke of just pure luck for this guy that this could not have worked out better for this guy. This whole run at this point.
It's been a lot of luck, certainly, but I think it also requires the company's backing in order to really fully like take advantage of the wave. And I would certainly say this regime has not just recognized it, but they've taken full advantage, or at least as much as they can, by getting him like appearances on shows. And so I'm sure selling a lot of merch for it. You know, like this is, as a wrestling fan who doesn't really watch basketball too much, this is sort of my attachment to the NBA finals, right? And if they manage to achieve that for somebody like me, I mean, I feel like they've done their job. You know,
I bet he's going to be at the parade on Thursday.
I'm sure they would have the connections maybe to get him something.
I think that would be a given that they get him there and just shoot all that footage.
It's not all the time that we've seen in WWE that they've been able to take advantage of maybe a mid-carder's sort of like mainstream success. Often, if that person is
remember when all
chosen.
Those athletes were doing the yes chant and they even brought Daniel Bryan for like the parade that year. It's like they didn't show any of that stuff. It was all organically happening and they didn't lean into any of it.
I feel a lot of it is just because like Vince is like just sort of in his bubble and doesn't really like recognize a lot of this stuff. But like, I mean, this is a regime that is very much, I think, sports sort of like focus. They're on ESPN, they're on all this stuff, and this is maybe, I would say, one of the positives of their sort of like desperation to have celebrities on and to get accepted by the mainstream.
Then we had a video from Seth Rollins challenging Braun Breaker for a steel cage match at Night of Champions. And later on, we would get the response video. Braun Breaker quickly got a whole crew together to respond to this. And he said that, Seth, you're not a visionary. You're a sheep in wolf's clothing. And when you get locked inside with a dog, the dog always makes it out. So is that promising that he's going to leave the cage? The cage will not contain them.
I mean, that's his way of saying it. Yeah.
Was this our closest we got to a Kennel from Hell match that was a missed opportunity?
Maybe that's SummerSlam. Maybe that's what they're building to. But these two are one apiece, and therefore, this could be the blow-off, because I don't think they'll be wrestling each other at SummerSlam. So this seems like it would be the blow-off for the two finally. Yeah. Hopefully they have a better promo than just these. This was fine to announce the match, but to really build the interest, I'm curious to see what else they do.
Is this all we've got for Night of Champions? The two finals and this?
King of the Ring.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Two finals and this. So we have 3 matches as of right now.
That's
right?
that's like half a card.
That's 3/4 of the show,
Yeah.
I guess. At this point, we'll lump some stuff in there.
Yeah.
Pierce is Lyra Valkyria is thanking Adam Pearce. We would learn this is for a tag title shot on next week's show with Bayley. And then LA Knight comes in to complain about SmackDown, and it's like, the show is way too long, Adam Pearce. When are we going to get back to 2 hours? And anyway, he says he's off to do things his own way. Jackie Redmond interviews Chad Gable, who has been wrong about a lot over the past few years, and he started to make amends with Ray, but I have learned I have others to apologize to as well. And I will get to that after beating Rusev tonight. And then he walks past Maxine, shares a look as she is with Austin Theory.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm wondering what Austin Theory is wondering. It's like, what do you do all week?
Maxine?
Yeah, like Theory is probably like, you and I could text, you know what? Or call.
They do. How do you know they don't?
Well, it's just, this is kind of like her job now, is to come to work to talk to Austin Theory in the background. Great gig.
Much.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Wai, tell us about Chad Gable's new theme song.
It certainly sounds American, I guess, if that's the vibe that they're going for. Like they're going for like I want to say like
1980s like
action hero, like, you know, like not quite real American, but sort of like of that vibe. You know, they're really going all in with like this all American hero type of thing for Chad Gable.
Yeah.
But not in a heelish way.
Yeah, it was I don't know. I would have liked to have heard what were the other options presented. Or were there any?
I think it's an improvement over his old theme, which I feel like is the American Alpha theme, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it's an improvement over that. It's at least somewhat identifiable. It's got lyrics, and I think it works.
So throughout the night, they're talking about this is Chad Gable's first match on Raw as Chad Gable in over a year. I don't know what the significance of that is. Like he was a different human before.
I guess it's been a long time since he.
Could you imagine if we saw Rey Mysterio actually wrestle as Rey Mysterio after all these years in a WWE ring?
You mean as Oscar Gutierrez?
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, he could technically still be Rey Mysterio without the mask, just as Chas Betts here is without a mask.
I suppose the key is anything to make you a bit more invested in the match.
I ask this if Chad Gable is two separate people because Corey Graves of all people, who called the match, says tonight might be the most important match of Chad Gable's career. Rusev.
So I guess he's different than El Grande Americano.
Would this be of the top 100 matches of Chad Gable's career tonight?
No. No, I wouldn't say so. No.
Okay.
But are you trying to promote the match to make it feel more important than it actually is?
I'm just going by what Corey Graves told me, that this might be the most important match of Chad Gable's career 2 weeks after I saw him have the most important match of his career, and this guy called it. This is a preposterous statement. So Chad Gable, here's the deal. Chad Gable is a babyface. his instructions are Kurt Angle. Okay, that's it. Okay, and he's ramped it up to like 12 now,
which isn't so bad. Which is arguably the way they should have been pushing this guy from the very beginning, right? But it's very clear that like according to like the producers of the show's playbook, maybe Levesque's own playbook, it's like that's the reference point. If you're a wrestler, if you're anybody with any sort of amateur wrestling background, the ankle lock is your finisher. You're probably going to do the angle slam. You know, you're probably going to take the straps down. Like that's just your thing. You know, Kendall Gray, Chad Gable, you name it.
Hey Chad, come over here. We've got some milk. You're going to have some milk, okay?
That sounds so creepy.
Gable hits him with a belly-to-belly and then a dragon screw, and Rusev escapes the ankle lock, goes to the floor. He's got Ethan Page in his corner, so Ethan tries to get involved. Gable hits the rolling Germans, and then the straps come down, so shit's on. Gable stops the accolade, gets the ankle lock applied, but Ethan reaches in for the hand, and Gable clotheslines Ethan over the top, walks into a Machka kick, gets out at 2, and then the accolade is applied, and Gable fights his way to the rope. Rusev releases the hold, and then is caught with an angle slam and ankle lock as Aaron Wolf / Chad Gable gets the submission in 10 minutes and 26 seconds. So we're going to watch Aaron Wolf and Chad Gable try to out-angle each other this summer. We're going to see. I'm going to put my dollars on Chad.
I felt this was the perfect use of Rusev at this stage. I mean, really, like serving him as like this sort of like foreign, you know, like Ivan Drago type to like your all-American hero to overcome, essentially. Like, I love that they had Gable just like do a lot more suplexes than usual and do them to a guy as big as Rusev. You know, to me, it's a great way to continue to shed him of your sort of like shorty G-ness, of this guy. Like, how do you overcome a short guy being not taken seriously as a heavyweight? You book him like Taz. You have him throw the shit out of like, you know, short, like taller guys. You use your height to your advantage because you can get a lower leverage point, you know, to toss a guy like a Rusev around. And I thought like he employed that really well.
And they nailed it with Taz as well. Yeah.
And not so much the WWE, but
remember when Taz got that ECW title run in 2000 when he was in WWE? Which chief content officer was it that just decided to beat him in Philadelphia as champion?
I mean, I hope he's learned from those. But yeah, I mean, I thought this was like a good showcase of Gable for sure.
It is. I don't know why I'm so pessimistic about Chad Gable, but I just feel like
you have reason to be. Yeah, certainly.
I watched this guy and I was like, they will not be able to help themselves. This guy will do, I don't know. There will be something, and I will feel vindicated for my pessimism. But let's see what they do. They could certainly use, like, if for nothing else, like, don't look at this guy's age. Look at this guy's like he's a fresh name on top, and like watching Raw and SmackDown, man, they need some. They need some new talent at the top mix. And I'm not saying Chad Gable can be a top guy, but he could certainly be in the mix and you could do something with him. And it's like you rejuvenated this guy. Like you did it on your television, and now you have a real player out of AAA. This guy who was a comedy afterthought that you've turned into an actual guy that you can utilize on your main roster. And the guy can absolutely go at this stage, and it's not like he's been on top for all of these different years. He does feel fresh to the audience.
I think the challenge with him is like it was with Kurt Angle. It's about shedding the comedic sort of like non-serious, you know,
because he's good at it, and that's such an easy go-to. Is like like Kurt, he's very good at the comedy, and it becomes very easy to throw stuff at him that
And we're so used to seeing him like that guy now, even like after Shorty G, like even as part of like, you know, American Alpha Academy. He was still very much more of a comedic, you know, thank you type of like, you know, guy. He's dropped that. Like he doesn't do that now. All these interactions you see him with the luchadors backstage are him being serious, being remorseful. In the match, he was a killer. And I think they're certainly pushing him like in the right direction. Yeah.
After the match, Page attacks, Rusev gets involved too, and Ray and Dragon Lee come to the save, and they extend their hand to Chad Gable as they stand. 3 proud Mexicans.
At this point, maybe, you know, He could walk into AAA, and I think he'd receive a hero's welcome.
Yeah. Reigns meets with Jimmy, who says he was going to give some advice to Jacob Fatu. Jimmy says, I thought you were going to give Jacob advice to listen to us when you're not around. But Reigns says he called an audible, and we can't have infighting. And then he asks why LA Knight is still out there talking, and he wants LA Knight dealt with, and he's thinking of sending Jacob Fatu to go get the job done, but Jimmy volunteers to take care of LA Knight. Then we had the Braun Breaker response. They also add that the first hour of Night of Champions will be on ESPN like the previous events.
And Breaker versus Rollins will be on that first hour, they said.
Well, this is what they did last time. They put the graphic on all the match boards.
Okay.
So I don't know if it will be. They used that on all the graphics last time.
Yeah, that's not confusing.
Well. It is confusing. I thought the same thing last month, and then I realized they put that first hour bit on all the matches. So we'll see. I mean, it could end up on there. I mean, as of right now, we have a 1 in 3 chance that this will be on the first hour. LA Knight comes out. Because basically we had an hour left of this show and we had 2 matches. So we needed something to eat some more time. So thus, Bloodline segment number 2 of the night. LA Knight lays down on the mat saying, this is how my Friday night went. And the crowd starts chanting, welcome home. I swear to God, I had no idea this guy was from Baltimore.
Yeah. Is he billed from Baltimore?
He is billed from Baltimore. And he's from Hagerstown.
No, is his character billed from Baltimore?
Oh, his character. I believe he is billed from Baltimore, I think.
Why does he call himself LA? I guess for some reason I associated him with LA. But okay.
He says he could have laid there all weekend, which would have been weird. They would have had to strike the ring. But he had to get home to Baltimore. The crowd's like, yeah, it's where we live too. And then he starts talking about Roman Reigns, how Roman might launch a meme coin to scam everyone. It's like after last night, I'm sure he made those connections.
So maybe something interesting to mention is that so they did that whole Danhausen recap of like the New York ring next undefeated run, and they stopped in the middle where they lost that game, game 4. They lost game 4 or game 3.
They lost game 3.
And in brackets they wrote not Danhausen's fault, which I felt was as close of a criticism of Donald Trump as you're going to get on this show. I took this meme coin line to be another dig at Trump.
It could be, yeah. I mean, you could read it that way, certainly. I mean, is there anything weird about watching a historical video package about World War II and then going into an ad read about Trump's UFC minted coins for $12,000 as I saw on Sunday night?
Yeah.
I wish you watched some of this UFC card way. I don't think you would have lasted.
I would have just wanted to see like the stuff between the fights. Actually, I was most interested in all that.
Well, it was a very commercialized event. I mean, Mark Shapiro, he was sitting down, but he was you could tell the man was just at the edge of his seat at all the signage. So Jimmy Uso interrupts LA Knight and says it's all different now, saying that Solo doesn't run with us anymore in terms of Solo being the one to cost LA Knight the match. But Knight says that Solo did help Jay, and he knows if I go after Solo, all of you guys are going to target me. But Jimmy denies that would be the outcome. So Jay comes out and gets another strong reaction. He repeats that Solo is his own man and that I am better than you. I eliminated you from King of the Ring fair and square, and you need to acknowledge me. And Knight says, well, that's an interesting offer, and I acknowledge that you can kiss my ass. And so Jimmy has to get involved as it leads to Jay super kicking Knight Jimmy super kicks LA Knight, helping him. And Jay goes to get a chair. Jimmy tries to stop him, but then LA Knight takes the chair and attacks both Usos when the fixer comes. Jacob Fatu and Tongan death grips LA Knight and sends him into the depths of Baltimore.
So he takes care of the problem when the other two cannot.
Yes. You know? Like this is Dumb and Dumber that have been assigned to go get the task done, and it's Jacob that gets the job done for Roman.
Yeah. I thought this was great. I thought Knight was outstanding here. Certainly one of the best receptions he'll probably get all like year long. And again, I think it was a segment that like showcased the individuality of the Bloodline members pretty well. You know, each person in the group here has their own reason for being here. They have their own sort of like relationship tonight. You got Jimmy, who's like the friendliest one, who's kind of caught in the middle, and Jay, who just like straight up at this point hates him, and Jacob, who just wants to get the job done on behalf of the tribal chief. So I feel like, even at this point, like to me, what makes the bloodline work is that you could easily define each member, and they're all important. No one is a background player. So I thought it was a great way of continuing each bloodline member's development while also driving the feud between Knight and the entire family forward to a physical degree now.
The Usos argued backstage, and Fatu says they didn't get the job done, so he did it the OTC way.
Yeah.
Charlotte and Roxanne Perez with Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan in the opposite corners. The beginning of the match, Flair goes for a chop, misses, and chops the post. So all match long, Roxanne Perez works on her hand, and Flair has to adjust to left-handed chops, and Flair makes her comeback as Liv then shoves Alexa into the post, and we just don't see Alexa for the next 5 minutes. She's just completely disappeared. And Perez takes a fall-away slam, and we see Liv distracting Charlotte, leading to Perez hitting a cabrata for a 2 count. Perez rakes the eyes behind the referee's back when Alexa Bliss comes back to life, yanking Liv off the apron, and this allows Flair in the ring to get repositioned by Alexa, who comes in behind the referee's back, leads to a 2 count, and then Pop Rocks is caught, and Flair goes to apply the figure 8. And I really like this attention to detail. She goes to post on both of her hands, and as soon as she puts weight on the right hand, she immediately takes it off the mat, and she just has to base on the one hand for the figure 8. And I thought that was, for someone that can, I sometimes am accused of nitpicking. I thought that this was a nice attention to detail for Charlotte. So 10 minutes, 9 seconds, Charlotte beats Roxanne and will face Liv on Friday.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty decent match, nothing really particularly stand out about it, to be quite honest with you, other than Charlotte's.
I thought it was the most important match of Charlotte Flair's career.
Sensible way to build to Liv versus Charlotte on Friday.
During the commercial, Rusev and Ethan Page came out. They have their eyes on Penta and the IC title. No Bunga-Runga anymore. That lasted a week.
Ooh. Oh, well.
Jackie brings out Javon Evans, and he addresses Jey Uso for their match on Friday. He's going to yeet his ass out of the competition. Out of context, I don't know how people would understand that line. And he gets cut off by the returning Logan Paul, who for whatever reason was brought back on this show with Austin Theory. Logan calls Evans a generational talent. He could be ruthless and a killer with the right people, and so he invites him to join the Vision. Evans turns them down. They explain, this is not a choice. You are being forced to join the Vision, and Evans is willing to fight them. And wouldn't you know it, we have time in the show to add Austin Theory against Javon Evans with Logan in the corner. So the crowd spent most of the time just railing on Logan, singing towards him, and Theory gets knocked to the floor. They go through a commercial break, and Theory hits ataxia, which still sounds like, a pill you would take for back pain.
Could be. With side effects.
Yeah, well. Evans argues with Paul on the floor, sends Theory into the timekeeper's area, and then Theory runs around the ring and just leaps over the barricade onto Theory, red dot in the ring, and goes for the OG cutter. And this was the only standout to me of the match, really, was the shooting of this, because Braun Breaker, when I tell you, this man came out of nowhere. He goes for the OG cutter, and it's in tight on Javon, and as he leaps out for this OG cutter, all of a sudden, he gets speared in midair by the appearing Braun Breaker. I mean, for DQ finishes, this one got a pass for me, because this was so well done. This spear to Javon Evans, 13 minutes and 14 seconds. And then Montez Ford comes out with the returning Angelo Dawkins. They charge the ring and take out Breaker and Austin Theory. At the end of this, I felt like all of this could have been accomplished without Logan Paul, but I guess he's back now just to talk.
Yeah, he had the type of surgery that would have him out for months. So it's
this guy is nowhere near ready, and all of this, I thought maybe he'll get involved in the finish, but it's like, it's very clear Logan cannot do anything physical because he did not get involved with anything physical here. So I didn't quite understand like bringing him back for this segment that could have been set up with Austin, and then you do Breaker at the end, and the match is with Breaker next week. So whatever.
My feeling is he'll probably still do this, like, you know, be around the ring, maybe like instigate, you know, be like cut promos, like maybe he himself like requested, you know, like put me back on, you know, just so that I can continue to do this while I rehab. But I was a little bit surprised that they brought Dawkins back, and they seem to be, well, they've announced, you know, the Vision versus the Profits, because I felt like they might have been pushing us towards a Ford and Rollins team up against Braun on the other side, and Theory, and they seem to have completely, I mean, killed that theory.
Yeah, and there was no explanation of that. Like, if you watch the show tonight, like, there was nothing involving Rollins and Montez, and I did think like maybe for Night of Champions that would be what you do, but so. Next week, they are doing Breaker and Theory against the Street Profits, and Paige and Brie against Lyra Valkyria and Bailey in London. So Paige is going to be super over on that show, and it's an afternoon show next week at the O2.
2 p.m. Eastern Time. I mean, I don't imagine a total change happening there. Paige and Brie.
No, probably not for that one.
Could the Profits win? Possibly, yeah.
You could have Rollins get involved in that match somehow, and leads to the Profits winning. But the bigger news for Friday, Cody versus Gunther will be commercial free on SmackDown. I was worried they wouldn't have enough time for this title match with Sami Zayn as the referee on Friday. And I guess we will see if they shoot some angle for Night of Champions with the winner of this match.
I imagine
possible three-way maybe at Night of Champions.
Yeah, I imagine you get Sammy on the card. I would imagine you get Cody, and I imagine you get Gunther on the card. So I mean that would be my prediction. You know, possible title change there as well. So, I was gonna say, you know, like I don't really mind so much like when they're announcing that as a commercial-free match, because it means they're just gonna put the commercials throughout the rest of the show, right? That's
true. Yes,
and you can enjoy the match uninterrupted.
They certainly got their usage out of Roman Reigns for this appearance, because we go to the latest segment with Roman with Jacob Fatu, who handled LA Knight's ass. And Reigns says the Usos don't understand Jacob, but I do. And there's no stopping them. And then he says, I have one more thing for you to do. And he whispers into his ear, milk. I need some milk. I imagine he's sending him to go get Solo Sikoa. I mean, that seems to be the plot here, is Roman trying to recruit Solo Sikoa back, and that seems to be the
Why
next
does he
chapter.
need to whisper that? They've already made that be known on Friday.
Maybe he's telling him.
Maybe he's saying, "Go get Zilla."
Okay.
Get all the other cousins.
The ultimate Zilla ride.
Yeah. I've always found it kind of awkward in these scenes where like somebody feels the need to whisper, when in theory, like these whole scenes should be in private anyway, right?
Yeah, you're not supposed to recognize the boom mic right above your secret being told.
Like, imagine us, like, maybe he's just like worried about like people listening in, you know? Like, imagine we were in a room together having normal volume conversation, and then I guess I just whisper like a portion of it to you. I guess it does happen. Okay.
I voted for Trump in 2024. It's true. I did.
Oh no, that's a big secret.
No. I guess Vanity Fair got to the bottom of that. And then Dirty Dom and Oba Femi. There was like no time left in this show, so you knew this one was not going too long. Dom bails to the floor. JD's in the corner, and Femi chases after him, gets hit with a drop kick, and Oba knocks JD off the apron with a clothesline and gets low blowed by Dominic and hit with a 619 with the hammer, the ring hammer, planted in the boot, hits a frog splash. Oba kicks out at 1, and he double choke slams JD and Dominic, elbows to both in the corners repeatedly, throws Dom, fall from grace, and Oba murders Dominic, becoming your new AAA mega champion. Huge for that company going into Triple Mania this coming September, with Oba Femi becoming your lineal champion.
So listen, John, you know, all the stuff about Taz, as ECW champion, I mean, even their own brand that they own half of, they don't really respect so much, right?
Yeah, Jeremy Borash getting no love here. So Oba murdered him. He'll face either Javon Evans or Jey Uso, and Oba closes the show by stating he is one match away, and then he'll have his crown. But he's going to tie up some loose ends, whether that's beating Jey Uso, Javon Evans, or even Brock Lesnar, who is not in the tournament, by the way. He is surprised that Brock didn't show up tonight. I thought for sure we would overbook this main event, but he questions if Brock is a man at all and asks if he will duck him forever or acknowledge him as the mountain Lesnar cannot climb. And when it's all said and done, I will be the king and you'll be the man that ran away.
Oba sounded good, as I think he often does.
I think he's daring Brock to go to Saudi Arabia.
I wonder if he'll get on that flight.
It's a long way. I would have chosen Baltimore over Saudi Arabia. Like, this would have been the match.
Has Brock done a Saudi show yet?
He's been on.
How many has he done?
He's been on, aside from when he was gone for that period, like, he's been on all the Saudi shows.
Oh, he's been on all of them?
Yeah. He's always
shows you how great my memory is.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's used to that flight. It's nothing for him.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. Strategically, I mean, you would think. Well, obviously, I'm just saying, like, if this were my goal was to cost this guy the tournament, I would make this trip to Baltimore to stop him from advancing in the tournament. It's just a lot of extra time to have to go all the way.
Maybe he was busy,
Yeah, well, okay.
So at this point, like,
there's no way Oba's losing this tournament. There's no way Jey Uso or Javon Evans is winning this thing. So I think Oba's winning this, and it's a question of your idea of doing the double matches.
It's not my idea. It's an idea that was
you came up with it before anyone in my mind. Okay, sure. The internet exists in it doesn't exist in my mind.
Yeah, credit me. Yeah.
If Oba is so I think those are your options. He could do the double match, or he puts it aside that Brock is the bigger match for him, because they are really pushing this hard.
Right. Yeah.
So I guess that's. But I don't think there's any way this guy's losing this tournament.
No, at this point, yeah. I mean, of course you can suggest Brock interrupting the match at Night of Champions to cost Oba Femi the match, and then Jey Uso somehow goes ahead. And, Jey versus Cody, I feel like would be a match that has some significance because they're former friends and former tag partners.
Not for SummerSlam.
But yeah, it does not feel that interesting, especially with all the negativity surrounding Jey Uso at this point. I don't see them booking it. Conversely, you have the chance to crown Oba Femi not just as King of the Ring, but as the guy who beat Brock Lesnar and as a WWE champion in a 1 month span, and that's the type of push they haven't given anybody since, you could argue, Brock Lesnar, with this sort of a rise to, getting a SummerSlam main event, being crowned as champion. So that's the move. If your project is Oba Femi being the new Brock Lesnar, being the new guy, I mean, you book him to win both nights of SummerSlam.
What did you think of tonight's Raw?
And maybe just a bit on that. Like, so if that is direction, then Oba Femi and Roman Reigns would be the match, right? And I think they've been, strategic in not giving you any hints that Roman and Oba would be facing each other at SummerSlam, other than the initial night that Roman won the championship. That's the only time that they might have mentioned it. Till then, they've really understated it and they've had Roman be sort of tied up with so many other things, right? So that feels like it's certainly a big match,
It is. I question if it's too big of a match that you want to do it so quickly with Roman.
Is there such a thing as too big of a match? You can always do a rematch. There are other big matches for them to do. I
just don't see them ending this Roman reign at SummerSlam.
And that's why they should do it.
Well, you would just have them beat Lesnar, beat Roman on back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it's a possibility, certainly.
The fact that you think it's too big, suggests that they have an opportunity to do something unprecedented. Right?
I just think I just think that match is arguably the biggest match that they have in their pocket to play of available performers, that I would like it to just get its own singular build. I mean, you have 4 weeks where you're essentially promoting 2 separate matches. Like, you can't just have this Lesnar thing be this back burner. Like, it's a layup that he's going to beat Brock on the first night, and it's going to have no juice because everyone's focused on the other match. And
they've done that for WrestleMania. Like Roman and Cody.
They have. I just think it's like it's the 2 single. Like, what is? It's certainly something you could do. I'm not like disregarding it. I think it's just in terms of like you just don't want to one overshadows the other. I just think that's the balancing act.
I guess when I say unprecedented, it's not really that unprecedented. They've had people do this on the same night. In fact, like not retire Brock Lesnar, but like, I mean, Bryan beat Triple H and then won the championship, right? Like this has sort of been their playbook, but spread across 2 nights. That, I mean, yeah, Cody's done that too.
Would you do it in that way, that if Brock, like, you do it as though Oba has to beat Brock because the winner gets Roman the next night, for instance, that there's some stakes for Lesnar? Is that necessary?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. But now, like, being in
That's
Minnesota,
almost a threat that we're going to give you Reigns and Lesnar again.
Yeah. I also wonder if being in Minnesota, like, you would risk Oba Femi, like, being a heel and getting a heelish reaction. I don't think you'll get that.
No.
Either. Yeah.
I think he's the hottest guy they have in this company, and
but if the threat is, either Oba Femi, a guy who's not from here, going on to beat Roman Reigns, or the guy who is being threatened with retirement, beating retirement, and then going on to win the championship, I wonder if you'll get Minnesota on Brock's side.
Yeah. Well, there you go, everybody. That was Raw, a very bloodline heavy edition of the show. I think Wai would have been happy with 2.5 hours of.
I like it. Again, I fully admit I could be in the minority. I'm not sick of it. Like, I think it's a fresh, take on it all. But how do you feel about it?
It's a lot of the bloodline. I'm not like negative on it. It's like tonight, I think it's a case where it's like you look at who they have at their disposal right now, and it feels like it's the bloodline and it's Oba Femi. Like, that's what's carrying Raw at the moment, and it's really pronounced when you take Roman Reigns out of the equation. Like, he's not on next week's show, for instance, and he took up. And listen, you book Roman Reigns, he should probably be plastered all over the show. I guess it's. You're building these different stories up without having a clear direction for Roman Reigns beyond this long-term thing with Jacob Fatu. So that's a bit of a balancing act of utilizing Roman, but it's not like we're building up, like, we're not getting Roman and Jacob anytime soon. No. It's like you're not teasing anything for Roman at the moment. So
the only person opposing him, like, directly right now, I guess you got Solo and you got LA Knight, and neither of those two are facing him at SummerSlam, of course. So I can only imagine it's whoever's going to win the King of the Ring at this point, which is probably going to be Oba Femi.
Yeah, I mean, it's even preposterous to think of Roman Reigns facing LA Knight on television. Like, that just seems like LA Knight's going to get nothing here with Roman Reigns, would be the thought. Maybe this will build to a face-to-face talking segment at Saturday night's main event. That's probably the peak that LA Knight can get out of Roman Reigns.
Maybe, yeah.
No, satellite interview. Roman's not flying to New York for that one.
Yeah.
We'll see. All right, everyone. Well, we're going to say goodbye to all of you on the YouTube channel. We'll be getting to your feedback momentarily. Again, a reminder that we have the wellness policy coming out on Tuesday. It will be live 1:15 Eastern for all free members on the Post Wrestling Café. Wednesday, we've got Rewind-A-Dynamite, and then Thursday, it's the WrestleMania 33 edition of Rewind-A-Wai as we go back to 2017 for the show featuring Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker. In The Undertaker's 10th to last match as he starts the retirement clock countdown.
Brock could be on a similar path. We could be talking about 15 more Brock Lesnar matches.
Yes, we will be talking about Brock on that show as well. The Hardys return, roller coasters.
The Festival of Friendship.
That's right. Yeah, Vince McMahon's most hated WrestleMania match in history. We'll talk about that. Does it quite live up to that criticism? And Shane McMahon against AJ Styles.
Oh, I look forward to that conversation. Yeah.
All of that to be had coming out this Thursday. And That's it, everyone. Oh, I did want to mention Tuesday night, NXT. We have Ariana Grace, Layla Diggs, and Izzy Dame against Thea Hale in the speed tournament matches. Natty against Jada Parker, and a number one contenders match between Tavion Heights and Jackson Drake to determine who faces Miles Bourne for the North American title. Wednesday night's Dynamite in Houston has Mercedes Moné and Hazuki in the semifinal of the Owen Hart Cup. MJF and Mark Briscoe will name their teams, and then after they name the teams, they're going to have a 12-man tag with everybody involved. So you're basically getting the pay-per-view match without the cage, and then they will do a face-to-face between Swerve and Ospreay. Collision, which will be taped on Wednesday night, will also feature the Athena against Maya World. I actually think, I think they should have Maya World go to the final, just based on all of this. I think she should upset Athena, because it's like, I just feel like this is something where they did a really great job of handling this on Saturday's Collision and playing up the win and her talking about her brother, that it's enough of a big upset. And then it's like the ultimate underdog situation with her and Mercedes in the final.
Yep.
I would
and then you build to a title match for the Ring of Honor Championship after the win.
Oh, yeah, where she beats Athena. Yeah. That could be a great follow-up that you do. And she gets something out of this tournament. She could lose to Mercedes in the final, but that will be a really heated match, because everyone by then, they'll know the story, and you'll have these two big upsets that you've at least created a semblance of doubt that she could pull off the big upset at the pay-per-view and can lose in a competitive way with a great opponent. Yeah, I kind of feel strongly on that one.
I hope she gets a promo time on Dynamite, I hope we get to hear her speak at length, or at least maybe play some footage of her being interviewed after the match from last week, just to because that to me would really maybe cement her presence, in front of a wider audience. So I love that. I mean, Mercedes versus Athena is always going to be a big match on paper, but I feel like you can do that. We've seen it before. You could do it another time. You can't do this Maya World match really that often. Yeah.
All right. We'll chat about whatever they do on Wednesday night. So tune in then. And we're now heading to forum.postwrestling.com.